Hey, due to some technical difficulties, the recording of round 4 didn't go through. So I'm going to be doing this over a replay and explaining my thought process and such for you. So you're still going to get round 4, but it's not going to be in the moment. It's going to be from a replay. Let's get to it. I win the die roll. I decide to play first. And we get this hand. And this hand is a keep for the simple reason that it has most of my best cards in the matchup. It doesn't have any ramp, but we have Knuckleblade on turn 3 on the play, which is good enough because we also have the Timur Charm and Crater's Claws to support it. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this hand, and we have a lot of live draws in the early turns before we resolve a Knuckleblade. Alright, we lead with the Bivouac, of course. Josh plays a Forest but doesn't have a Mystic, and we draw basically the best draw in our deck, which is Heir of the Wilds. So we get to cast that off of the Forest and the Bivouac. Pass the turn. Josh casts a Caryatid, but he's not blocking, so we'll just play Confluence, cast Knuckleblade, and get in for 3. We have Timur Charm next turn, as well as Crater's Claws if we need it. We would love to draw another land for this Ashcloud Phoenix, but we might not be able to. Josh plays an Eidolon. We did draw the extra land, but I'm not sure if we want to play the Phoenix right now. I think we just want to claws the Eidolon and hold up Timur Charm to counter whatever we need to and attack for 7. So Doomwake Giant, I believe, comes down here, yes. I don't let that resolve because next turn I can just attack through it. And then Crater's Claws deals 5 damage, so we're in a really good position here. We're very close to just getting Josh dead. We'll bottom the Mystic. We want to draw an untapped land or a threat or some burn. So if Josh wants to block here, which he should to avoid getting killed by Crater's Claws, he has to block the Heir of the Wilds, because we can just pump the Knuckleblade and then Doomwake dies and doesn't trade. So I just go ahead and cast the Ashcloud Phoenix second main, but it might have been better to pump the Knuckleblade, because no matter what happens next turn, even if something really weird comes down on Josh's side of the table, I'll still be able to Crater's Claws for lethal. But Ashcloud Phoenix is pretty good at ensuring that anyways, keeping my Ferocious online. Even through like a Doomwake Giant or one removal spell. Josh plays an Eidolon and then it's just over. Like, he's just dead. Timur Charm prevents block, or Timur Charm fights, sorry, obviously. And then that's the game, just with 2 attacks. Josh doesn't even have the ability to murderous cut one of my creatures to possibly stay alive if I don't have Crater's Claws, because he only has 1 mana up and 3 cards in the graveyard. He would need a 4th. So that is game 1. I got that pretty quickly, and I'm pretty sure I sideboarded the same as I did for match 3, though I'm not entirely sure. I think I pretty sure what I did was I took out all of the Boon Satyrs and all of the Lightning Strikes, and I boarded in the Disdainful Strokes, the Hunt the Hunters, Back to Nature, and one card is missing. I don't know what else oh, and the Temur Charm. Sorry. So we're Boon Satyrs and Lightning Strikes came out. Hunt the Hunters, Disdainful Strokes, Back to Nature, and Temur Charm came in. The reason is that Boon Satyr was always unimpressive, and Ashcloud Phoenix is probably just better. So Josh decides to play. He keeps. I don't have a threat, but I have a lot of great interaction, so I'm going to go ahead and keep this. We have a lot of creatures in our deck, so we should draw into some. There's an Heir of the Wilds, which is great. Hopefully Josh does not have a turn 2 Corsair on us. After his turn 1 Elvish Mystic. But he does. Revealing a Hornet Queen off the top, so we can't let him get to enough mana to cast the Hornet Queen. But we have to run out the Heir of the Wilds to get some pressure on. That lets us Hunt the Hunter and get damage and such. Josh kills it and gets in for 2. Does not play another land, by the way. So he's stuck on 2. He's not drawing one next turn, but he'll get another shot off of Corsair's Reveal. So I just passed the turn with Counter Magic up. Josh draws, doesn't see a land. I'm really hoping here that he plays his second Corsair, so Back to Nature gets really good. But he's not buying it. He's not going to play the second Corsair. I draw a Knuckle Blade, which I just go ahead and cast. Josh needs to draw another land for the Murderous Cut. So we're in very good shape. There. He draws the Murderous Cut, reveals another Murderous Cut on top. So I'm good as far as that goes. Attacks with Corsair. I decline to block because the 2 damage is not very relevant. I'm still the aggressor in this situation, even though I'm behind on life. I draw another land, cast it, and attack. I probably should have hunted the Elvish Mystic there. I think that was a mistake, because then Josh doesn't have any chance in this game if he doesn't have a land on top for Corsair, and it lets me get in more damage. Like, I hunt the Mystic, Josh floats a mana, tries to Murderous Cut, but I can Disdainful Stroke or Temur Charm and bash for 6 instead of the 4. So I think not hunting was a big oversight there. I don't remember why I didn't. I think I just might have missed it. But I go ahead and Creator's Claws the elf. Floats a mana. When I pass priority, Josh attempts to cut, and I Disdainful Stroke it. So now I'm still quite a bit ahead. He reveals a land, gets to play it, and fetches away the Wayfinder. Excuse me. Because he wants to cast Courser. The second Courser, I think. Maybe he just didn't want to draw the Wayfinder, which might be a mistake. He definitely shouldn't cast the second Courser here because of Back to Nature, even if he doesn't know about it. And he declines to cast it. Again, I think it was a mistake to fetch there because Wayfinder seems like a solid draw, but I don't have a ton of experience with Josh's deck, so I wouldn't know for sure. Now I go ahead and hunt the Courser. Josh responds by attempting to Murderous Cut, I believe. Yes. And I counter that. I get in for 6 damage. Taking him to 11. Draws a land. Casts a Murderous Cut in his main phase, so I can't counter it. I just cast 1 Mystic so I can play around Doomwake Giant and hold up Back to Nature. I know that Josh has a Courser and a Hornet Queen in hand, but I don't have any other information. Courser reveals another Courser. Still kind of daring Josh to play it. I just cast the Paulo Kratos here and pass the turn. It's a really, really good situation for me because Crater's Claws is rapidly becoming lethal after an attack. Josh has no other real play except to drop the second Courser and hope that I just don't have it, but I do. And I think that's game. Back to Nature, attack for 7, claws for X equals 2 is deals 4 damage, and that's lethal. I didn't even need to fetch because he had an Urborg, but I do. And that's match. That's the 4th match. Pretty straightforward, easy wins for me. Game 1, I had quite a good draw, lots of interaction, some very good early aggression, and Game 2, Josh just got mana screwed and was unable to draw out of it, even with multiple Coursers. So I was able to get there eventually, despite a lot of removal spells from him. Cast 1, 2, 3, 4 removal spells, and I opened on a hand without threats. So it shows you how important being able to deploy your own powerful threats are in this matchup, because all Josh cast were Coursers and a Mystic, and I was able to run him over eventually. So that was I also had a lot of counter spells helping me out, but still. So that's round 4. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for round 5, which is not a replay, it's an actual live recording.